President Tinubu visits Lafia, inaugurates state projects.
As INEC releases list of 110 party applicants, meets PDP on reinstated National Secretary Anyanwu.
Senate condemns Benue Plateau killings, demands justice.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, we shall discuss contributions of NUPEs to national unity and development.
So every year on the 26th of June, something quite special happens in Nupe land.
Yes, Victor, it's Nupe Day again, and it's not just a date on the calendar. It's a celebration of strength, resilience, and the incredible spirit of the Nupe people.
Precisely, and a day when Nupe royal fathers insist kindreds should honor their heritage and remind themselves of the power of unity, peace, and progress, not just for Nupe land, but for Nigeria as a whole.
And this year, the 17th edition of Nupe Day, taking place today, June 26, 2025, comes with a thoughtful twist, Victor.
And you are right, but His Royal Highness, the Etu Nupe, along with other traditional rulers, have decided to tone down the usual fanfare. No drums and dancers this time, but don't mistake it for a lesser celebration, Jumai.
Yeah, far from it, Victor. And this year's theme, the contribution of the Nupes to national unity and development, calls for reflection rather than revelry.
So whether you are Nupe by birth or by heart, mark your calendars. June 26th is a day to look back, learn, and look forward, united in purpose and proud in heritage.
And we have a panel of guests joining us shortly to speak on this issue on Good Morning Nigeria today. And don't forget to send your text messages to contribute to the conversation. You're welcome to Good Morning Nigeria. I am Juma Yusuf.
And I'm Victor as well. Also, thank you for joining us. We are reaching you live on the network service of the NTA. Newspaper review will come up shortly, but that will be after the news. Mina Daniels is standing by. Good morning, Mina.
Good morning.
Good morning, Victor.
Rainy morning.
Rainy one indeed, and beautiful, I'm sure it will be at the end of the day. Welcome to the morning news. President Bola Tinubu is again reassuring Nigerians that at the ripe of the various transformative programs of his government and those of some state governments, they will have no regrets supporting his administration. The president gave the assurance as he addressed a gathering of stakeholders on his one-day official visit to Nasarawa State, where he inaugurated some legacy projects executed by Governor Abdullahi Sule.
The hope is here. From this moment on, you will have no regrets. I could see hard work coming from A.A. Sule. Determined to use the resources available to him for the benefit, stability, and prosperity of Nasarawa State. Sule is doing well.
Nigeria is currently witnessing a silent but resolute transformation under the renewed hope agenda of the Tinubu administration. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this during the Nigeria-Brazil Business Forum tagged Roots to Revenue, Nigeria-Brazil Corridor on day 3 of the dialogue in Abuja. And big changes are on the way for Nigeria's tax system. Today, President Bola Tinubu will officially sign into law 4 major tax reform bills designed to shake up the country's revenue and fiscal framework. According to a statement from Bayo Onanuga, Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, these bills have already been approved by the National Assembly after wide-ranging consultations with stakeholders and interest groups. The 4 bills are the Nigerian Tax Bill, the Nigerian Tax Administration Bill, the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill. Once these new laws kick in, they are expected to drastically improve how taxes are managed across Nigeria. That means better revenue generation, a more business-friendly environment, and a stronger magnet for both local and foreign investment. Today's signing ceremony at the Presidential Villa in Abuja will be attended by the Senate President, the Speaker of the House, majority leaders from both chambers, Finance Committee Chairman, and several key officials from the executive branch, including the Finance Minister and the Attorney General. The Nigerian Tax Bill, Ease of Doing Business. This aims to streamline Nigeria's tangled web of tax laws into one cohesive, easy-to-understand statute. It will ensure there are fewer taxes, less duplication, and a much smoother experience for taxpayers. The Nigerian Tax Administration Bill sets a consistent legal and operational standard for tax collection across all levels of government. The Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill, the FIRS, ushering in a more autonomous, efficient body, the Nigerian Revenue Service. This will handle both tax and non-tax revenue and will be held to high standards of transparency and accountability. The Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill will coordinate creating a formal structure for collaboration between revenue agencies nationwide. It also introduces 2 important oversight bodies, a tax appeal tribunal and an office of the tax ombudsman, giving taxpayers a clearer path to resolve disputes. The Deputy President of the Senate, Barau Jibrin, in reaction to calls on President Tinubu to make Barau the running mate in 2027, says, and I quote, "I will do whatever the President wants me to do," end of quote. Senator Barau, while responding to questions at a media briefing on the upcoming Zonal Constitution Amendment hearings, added that as a progressive and being a loyalist to the President, considering what Tinubu had done for him personally and the people of Kano State, his loyalty is 100% likened to father-son relationship. On the Constitution review exercise, which he chairs in the Senate, Barau said 59 bills and 31 proposals would center on security, local government administration, gender inclusion, traditional institutions, and state creation, among others, have been submitted. INEC has released names of 110 associations seeking to be registered as political parties. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu disclosed this at a consultative meeting with media executives ahead of the Anambra governorship election. And the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has restored Chris Anyanwu as its national secretary. The party revealed this while on a visit to INEC chairman in Abuja. This development is expected to put to rest the lingering internal crisis the party has been confronted with for some time now. Moving on, Senate has condemned the recent massacre of innocent lives in Yewata community of Benue State. The lawmakers also condemned the killing of travelers from Zaria in Mangun Plateau State on their way to a wedding in Kwanpan. The lawmakers, while debating the security breaches, expressed deep concern and urged Nigerians to revive the age-long tradition of being our brother's keeper. The House of Representatives has constituted an ad hoc committee to investigate persistent bandit attacks on communities in Benue State with a view to proffering lasting solutions. This decision followed a motion of urgent public importance, expressing concerns about the recent armed attacks on the Yewata community, which led to loss of lives and livelihoods. Lawmakers urged the Nigerian Army to establish a forward operation base in Yewata, a border community, to boost security presence and help prevent future attacks in the area and across Benue State. The Force Commander Operation Wellstroke, Major General Moses Gara, has debunked a recent report purportedly filed by Sahara reporters alleging that the Nigerian military had prior intelligence on the 13 June 2025 attacks in Benue State, but failed to act. Acting Media Information Officer, Headquarters, Joint Task Force, JTF, Operation Wellstroke, Lieutenant Ahmed Zubairu, in a statement says the commander described the publication as false, misleading, and a dangerous form of cyberbullying aimed at discrediting the military and undermining public confidence in its operations. Major General Gara condemns the report as lacking both credible evidence and professional scrutiny. And that's the news at this time. Good Morning Nigeria continues in a moment with Jume and Victor, but after this break.
Have you heard the news? The federal government of Nigeria, through its direct benefit transfer program, has started the disbursement of 75,000 naira per household in 3 installments of 25,000, 25,000, 25,000 naira. Each recipient must have a validated national identification number, NIN, to receive the payment on behalf of their household members. To benefit, your household must be in the National Social Register of Poor and Vulnerable Households in Nigeria. The federal government's direct benefit transfer program is helping to reduce the effect of suffering while promoting financial and economic inclusion for the poor and vulnerable population in Nigeria.
Ebim Nagara Dimawa Village, Abuja, Nazo Afeba. So Esom Nandi register na NSR government register with my NIN. So government we use ATM card. Mji we wete 25,000 naira 3 times. And ega haya mketa baru mulu na dem eji megoro makamihe. Jikweru mehendozo. Thank you.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, in collaboration with the National Social Investment Programs Agency, National Social Safety Net's Coordinating Office, and the National Cash Transfer Office.
This girl and many more children like her will never forget today. They felt grit. They felt determination. They felt the power of sport. Throughout this year, 7.5 million children across Nigeria will feel the same power through Milo. But we won't stop there. Next year, we will reach even more schools, more communities, and inspire more champions.
A new edition of TV Guide is out, featuring an impeccable personality with purposeful leadership.
Abba Abubakar Aliu, MD, CEO of Rural Electrification Agency, takes us through the gamut of activities and mandates of Rural Electrification Agency, as well as its achievements and dreams.
I really want to see that I leave a lasting legacy that can be spoken of in a very long period of time.
Welcome to a world of fun and excitement as we also present an assemblage of professionals in the media space. Some compelling NTA programs, current trends in the fashion world, ICT, sports, entertainment, and lots more.
Meet Professor Charles Anosike, the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, as he shares his vision in repositioning NIMET as a key player in Nigeria's climate strategy.
Get a copy at the vendor near you or any NTA station nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
Our major currency unit is the Naira, while the minor unit is the Kobo. They are both in notes and coins. The Naira is more than just a medium of exchange. It bears the images of our heroes. So, stop abusing the Naira. It is a criminal offense to spray the Naira at events. Stop stepping on the Naira. It's not your enemy. Do not squeeze, ruffle, or write on the Naira. Handling the Naira with dirty or oily hands can deface the Naira. Love the Naira as you love yourself. Be a real Nigerian. Do not abuse the Naira.
At NTA Television College Jos, you will dive into exhilarating hands that will fuel your passion in education and propel your career to new heights. We don't just teach, we craft the next generation of media leaders. Explore our diverse offering, understanding the personnel matters and issues in the public service, basic development communication, financial reporting under IPSAS, and interpretation of public sector accounting standard IPSAS, audit, internal check and control management, video camera maintenance, new technologies, optics, fiber, IP technologies, automation, storage management, and wireless technology. Challenges and opportunities in the secretarial profession in the digital age. Digital marketing, basic drama, online reporting, understanding the provisions of the revised public service, audio engineering operations and maintenance, camera operations, and intermediate drama. Mark your calendar. The second quarter of 2025 is your launch pad. This is your moment to seize the future. Announcer management.
Hey Nigeria, ready to breathe cleaner air and save money? Let's talk about gas. Drive with CNG, the smart, cost-effective choice. Fill up for less and travel further. Save money, save the planet. Switch to LPG for cooking. It's cleaner, healthier, and better for environment. Say goodbye to smoke and eye problems. Do you know Nigeria is a gas nation ranked 9th globally with over 209 trillion cubic feet of gas reserve? Gas isn't just for cooking and driving. It powers industries too. Cleaner, cheaper, and more efficient. And the best part, conversion centers are popping up everywhere. It's never been easier to switch to gas. Join the cleaner energy revolution. Choose LPG for cooking and CNG for your vehicles. Clean energy for brighter future. This message is brought to you by the Office of the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, supported by the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA.
Thanks for joining us in Good Morning Nigeria. It's now time for newspaper review.
All right, let's welcome Chukwudi Okolie-Ubaja, our newspaper reviewer.
Victor, good morning.
Pleasure to see you this morning.
Good morning. It's a wet morning.
I hope it didn't affect.
Oh, well, that's when you get to know that owning a car is not a luxury. Everyone should have. Oh, no. There's no way I would have come out today. Yeah. It's still a jalopy, but it's a car. Jumai, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How is Jamilu?
It's fine.
MashaAllah. So let's quickly go to the papers. We'll begin with the People's Daily. And just below the masthead of the People's Daily, PDP reinstates Anyanwu as National Secretary, calls it a bitter pill to swallow. You find the details on page 2. 110 associations apply for registration as political parties. That's coming from the INEC chairman. At the bottom plate of the People's Daily, Google announces 350k support for AI startups in Nigeria and Kenya. You find the details on page 14. NDLEA arrests 583 convicts, 225 drug offenders in Adamawa. Running mate, I will do whatever Tinubu wants in 2027. That's coming from the Deputy Senate President Barrow Jibrin. Senate confirms non-indigenous Rivers electoral chairman amidst protest. Details on page 6. Killings. Reps advocate urgent humanitarian aid, security measures for Benue community. And the headlines in the People's Daily this morning: many soldiers, bandits feared lost in Niger crossfire. With riders as police kill 2 armed robbers, arrest 2 in Kaduna. You find the details all on page 3. Victor?
All right, and I have This Nigeria. Okay, just beside the nameplate, doctors warn of rising malaria cases, urge preventive measures. You can find details of that on page 26 of This Nigeria. And the lead story here reads, PDP reinstates Anyanwu as National Secretary, suspends NEC meeting. He's been working, not an appointee, Wike chides Damagum And that story is on page 2. And the rest is just a display of projects here in the FCT Chukwudi.
Yes, and one commissioning that is supposed to happen today is that of the Kubo bus terminal. Yeah, when I saw it, I didn't know what they were putting up there. And I said, hey, what is this state-of-the-art thing? You would think that an airport is about springing up there in terms of beauty and all that. But the question I ask is, where are the buses? I see occasionally one was this motor assembling company in the East, Innocent Vehicles. I'm sure those are gas powered, you know. But I would have thought that there would be more now. Let's assume that they want the terminals to be in place, then the buses would come to use them. But it is quite a glorious sight. Yes, I think it's quite good. Doctors are warning of rising malaria cases. My wife and I have had to already take the drugs. You know, just 3 days ago, I noticed she was running a fever. Before it gets to, you know, the temperature you feel in the evening, tackle it. That's what one pharmacist taught me before he left for California. So when I say I've not had fever in the past 25 years, it doesn't mean I don't ever have the symptoms. But you don't let it put you on the bed. Yes, you must know how to live.
But wouldn't that come across as self-medication?
Victor, I don't know whether anyone can be totally free of self-medication. If you have a headache and you want to go to get the analgesic from a pharmacist or a doctor first, I think there are across-the-counter drugs that, well, I'm not a medical person, but I think there are drugs that you can take to handle your cold, the mild headache, and the rest of it. But when it is something that raises the eyebrows, you better rush to see a doctor, because they are the ones that know. I wonder why you want to put me to task to that.
Well, because we're speaking to the public.
We're speaking to the public. I agree with you. PDP is reinstating Anyanwu as National Secretary. They've suspended the NEC meeting. I don't want to sound pessimistic towards the PDP, but I hope they are doing this early enough to be able to catch up. I hope they're not playing catch-up already.
It's all politics.
You know, it's politics. It's politics. But the way the PDP has been tumbling is quite surprising, almost shocking. Because when I remember the Ekweme time when they talked about the G32, Shehu Musayar Adua, the way they came, Babangida was actually said to be part of it. And all. We thought it was a party that would never go down.
It will last for
60 years or
50 years or so.
60 years or so.
But you know, that's politics.
Yeah, that's actually nature. Nothing lasts forever.
When you look at
particularly that which is put together by humans.
Most of the people that are in APC today came from the PDP.
What is the difference between them, really? In terms of philosophy, or what is it called now? Party manifestos and all
our
that.
security forces are trying their best, but the issue of insecurity is escalating.
Yes, I think that's why some of us make a case for let state police come in. Let the states augment what is happening in the center. However you look at it, it's a big burden for the police force to be centralized. You know, it's rather unwieldy, so to speak. But going globally, because it's not just the police you're talking about now, the strain is beginning to tell. When you remember the geographical coverage of Nigeria, it's massive. It's massive. The land area of Nigeria is massive. And of course, it is reasonably populated by people. So hoping that 1/6 of the number of boots you need will be on ground in Nigeria is a tall order. It needs deliberate planning. and the people have to be involved in their own security. That is one area we must keep on flagging. People's seeming inertia towards being part of security is actually part of why we have a problem with security. It goes beyond see something, say something, you know. When you tell people, for instance, put lights on the edges of your buildings, some people will tell you to consume a lot of energy and all that. The truth is that, you know, when we were small, they will tell us that light frightens witches. So
that's why I like what Wike is doing in Abuja.
Oh, yes.
Lighting up Abuja, you know, usually there are some dark areas, but now it's all lit up, and I believe...
Even the roads he is working on,
yes.
You see the markings.
Yes.
And if you dent a man's car, you would know whether you straight from your own lane. It's exhaustive. And it's attitude, really.
It's attitude.
It's attitude. Some people are holistic when they handle things. It happens through all the gamut of their life, you know. Some people are like that. They're consummate in terms of whatever they apply themselves to. I think it's quite good.
It's quite good, yeah.
It's quite good. The Deputy Senate President, Barrow Jibril, is saying that whatever Tinubu asks him to do, he's going to do it 100%. I like that confidence in the president. That's good. But he quickly said what I would like to have said. He said it before me. Right now, what's important is to concentrate on governance. Politicking ahead of 2027 is rather premature. The way we have taken it to Olympian heights, I think we should play it down a bit so that we'll remember development.
Because anything that has to be done this year. By next year.
By next year, anything that is not done in terms of infrastructural development is a forgotten issue. Yes. If we are to go by antecedents, you know.
Okay, more political parties are being registered now. INEC said they have applied for registration as political parties, 110.
Jumai, the one you register is the one I'm going to join. They can engage in their furore. I'm waiting for you to register, so I join. Well, it's their statutory right.
It is.
Let them go ahead.
Yes.
But you see, my friend said some of these parties registering is to get allocation.
Yes, get allocation.
They're not really serious people.
So Chukwudi Okoli-Ugbaja is the latest member of Jumai Party. Jumai Party of Nigeria.
I can imagine if I have a political party.
It's JPP.
Tell me I don't know the meaning of Uber Rapa.
That's we'll fight in the studio one day. It's a matter of time. I know it, you know. I'm a member of JPP by the Jumai Progressive Party.
Don't worry, we should go. So, Chooks, on that note, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you so much as well.
Morning.
Thank you.
We'll take a break right now. When we return, our conversation on Nupe Day will begin. Please stay tuned. And don't forget to send your text messages and contribute to the conversation.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, with undying demand. We make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Ethnicity is unique, we have more than destination.
We are Nigeria, strengthening unity. We know they carry life. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
The sport is very, very important to the special kid needs. Engaging in this kind of activities, moving the wheelchair with the strength, is a form of exercise to reduce that stiffness of the muscles. It makes them to be self-dependent, not depending. We should believe that there is ability in their disabilities.
Anything in front of the camera,
you're there.
I'm hosting a TV show. I could take your job.
Like yeah.
Just saying.
You see, that your kneecap.
Saying.
I go finish and you won't stand for you.
By night, I do brand influencing. So if you need a face for your brand.
Wait, which brand are you influencing in the night?
We'll get back to it.
Okay. Powerhouse family. Just Friends family. It's time for us to play. Name a place a group of girlfriends might go for a fun night out. Yep. Survey says.
Sarah loves food, but she does not eat much.
I know that feeling. Your stomach says,
no.
Name something a woman might likely need when she's acting moody.
Money.
Food.
Attention. Love making.
You look like you are speaking from experience. Survey says.
Our major currency unit is the Naira, while the minor unit is the Kobo. They are both in notes and coins. The Naira is more than just a medium of exchange. It bears the images of our heroes. So, stop abusing the Naira. It is a criminal offense to spray the Naira at events. Stop stepping on the Naira. It's not your enemy. Do not squeeze, ruffle, or write on the Naira. Handling the Naira with dirty or oily hands can deface the Naira. Love the Naira as you love yourself. Be a real Nigerian. Do not abuse the Naira.
Pleased to announce encouraging news from the National Bureau of Statistics, which released the Consumer Price Index, the CPI, for April 2025 only yesterday. According to the report, the headline inflation rate for April stood at 23.71%, This represents a decrease of 0.52% from the 24.23% recorded in March 2025. Similarly, month-on-month inflation dropped by a notable 2.04% from 3.90% in March to 1.86% in April. This, of course, did not just happen by chance. The president is focused and is determined, and his determination and his interventions are clearly paying off. The benefits of reform, though gradual, are real and measurable.
You're watching Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA. And just before we bring in our guests for the conversation on contribution of NUPES to national unity and development, let's take this background report by Oyeyemi Ajayi.
Tradition is more than just a set of customs. It's the heartbeat of every society, and the bedrock of which individuals build their identity. It's something that connects and tells a story where people come from. In a diverse country like Nigeria, with over 250 cultural groups, each one brings its own unique values, heritage, and way of life. These traditions give people a deep sense of pride, no matter where they find themselves. That's why many communities set aside special days each year to celebrate their culture, honor their history, and showcase what makes them unique. For the Nupe people, June 26th is that day. Every year, This day is marked out by the royal fathers of Nupe land as a time to celebrate their strength, courage and resilience. It's a moment to reflect on their roots and pass on vital lessons of peace, unity and progress, not just for their community, but for the country as a whole. Over the years, Nupe Day has become more than just a cultural festival. It's a powerful reminder of Nigeria's beauty in diversity, a call for unity, no matter the differences. It is also a chance to highlight how culture can play a key role in national development, especially at a time when many traditional practices are slowly fading, often because younger generations are becoming disconnected from their heritage. So, that raises some important questions. How well do youths really know their roots? What are the communities doing today to keep these traditions alive and promote peace and unity across Nigeria? We'll be diving into these questions and more with our guests shortly.
Thank you so much, Oyemi Ajayi, for that background report. And we have our guests seated here in the studio this morning. We have Engineer Yabagi Yusuf Sani, Jekaden Nupe. You're welcome to Good Morning Nigeria. It's a pleasure to have you join us.
Thank you very much.
Always. And we have Mohammed Dagachi Zarumin Agai, and President General Community Association for Grassroots Transformation, GAGRAT. You're welcome to Good Morning.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you join us.
All right. We have also been joined here in the studio by Abdulalim Haruna, a barrister at law, National President of Niniji Nupe Development Association. He is also Deputy Registrar and Special Assistant on Information Strategy and Legal Matters to the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council at the University of Abuja. It's a pleasure to have you join us on Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much. I'm great.
And lastly, but by no means the least, let us also welcome Professor Aishatu Abdul Kadri. She is of the Department of Geography, Federal University of Technology, Ilorin. We welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria, madam.
Good morning. Federal University of Technology, Mina, please.
Mina, oh, okay.
Okay, it's Mina.
Sorry about that.
Okay, let's quickly begin this conversation now. And first of all, congratulations on another celebration of Nupe Day. It's quite an interesting one there. Let's start with the Engineer Yawagi on this special day. Tell us all about it. What's going to happen today?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, let me appreciate the Almighty Allah who has made this day possible, and of course recognize the dominant role played by His Royal Highness and the other Royal Highnesses of Nupe. That is Dr. Yahya Abubakar, CFR, and the elders of Nupe, because this is about Nupe and as a people. And it's also about Nupe, our history, our culture, our essence, and the contemporary history of Nigeria. In fact, when you look at Nigeria, you can safely, say that Nupes have always been at the helms of affairs, from First Republic up to where we are today. You have the likes of Makama Nupe, who was very prominent in the northern government at that time. And then down to Shehu Musa in Shagari's administration. And you can count on and on until this time, when we have a very, very dynamic, very highly articulated, spokesperson for the president, the Minister of Information and Culture, Information and National Orientation, rather, in person of our son, Mohammed Idris. So you can see that Nupes never lay back when it comes, and then they put themselves totally in whatever assignment that they're given. And a very good example of what I'm saying is what is happening today.
Yeah.
You can see how we have transformed the landscape of dissemination of information, how internationally and domestically, because we have a nuclear man there, there's a big difference. It's not because it's from us, but it's true. So there's professionalism, there's culture, there's humanity and everything. So Nupe, as a tribe, is an epitome of culture, religion, and industry. You can find us there, politics. You can find Nupes there. So what we're celebrating today, like I said, which started since 2008, when we started it in Lokoja, because we had to go to Lokoja to pay homage to at the tomb of Abubakar, who actually brought about the day we are marking today, because 26th June of every year, in 1876 it was, when
you defeated the British.
Yes, the British cavalry.
Yes.
And that brought about, the retreat, of the British, colonial, army that time. And they didn't want to come back, because until when Germany, tried to occupy Nigeria at that time. So they had to come back, and Nupes played a very key role. That's why I say from the inception of Nigeria, we have been there. And until now, you will find Nupes playing very, very important role, prominent roles, and then applying themselves totally. And the one thing, again, is that you hardly find a Nupe man compromised, when you give them assignment. It's always something that you can always be proud of and use as a reference point. So today we are celebrating our people, ourselves. We are celebrating history. We are celebrating the future. The future, because I must tell you, since we started this Nupe Day, it has placed Nupes, prominently in the scheme of things, culturally, and even in the modern engagements, you find us prominently, especially Etonupe, Dr. Yahya Abubakar. You can see the prominent role he's playing in the political arena, trying to see how they can maintain peace, ensuring that the traditional institution is not in any way trampled upon. And then, National Assembly, I think by next week, July, between the 4th and 5th, they are having a public hearing. Amongst the things they are going to do is that they are going to consider the issue of traditional rulers, position in the scheme of things as far as the Constitution is concerned. And also, they are also going to discuss creation of state. And Nupes, we have also been listed as one of those that qualify eminently to be given their own state, because of our numbers, because of our economic potential and opportunities available. It's when you talk about anything, is it agriculture? Believe you me, it used to be that 60% of the rice locally produced in Nigeria, was coming from the Nupe land. And today, you talk about oil and gas. Of the 8 basins we have in this country, Bida Basin is one of them. So when you talk about gas, is it you want to talk about even inland port that is that's supposed to open up the entire north, is situated in Nupe land, Agay, So Nupe land and Nupe people are people that God has made with some special qualities,
So clearly,
enhance humanity and develop.
Clearly, the Nupe Day is not just a cultural event. It holds deep historical meaning. Let me get to Alhaji Dagachi, and for the benefit of our viewers, can you take us through the making of the Nupe Day and particularly what it symbolizes for the people?
Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Nupe Nation. Thank God for His favors. And we appreciate our paramount ruler, the Echunupe Alhaji Abubakar CFR, for his charismatic leadership. He has turned into a philosophical king. What that means is you have a leader that builds a spacious palace for the comfort and happiness of his people. That is what he has done. Before I answer your question, let me tell the world what Nupe is all about. You will have expected me to say Nupe is a language. It used to be.
So
but contemporarily speaking today, Nupe is much more than a language. It is a spirit. It is a character. It is a sheer noble principles. And that's why, despite the dichotomies and changes introduced into Nupe land through various state creations, local government creations, boundary delineations, the spirit and character of Nupe personality has remained indomitable, irrepressible, and dynamic. This is part of what we are celebrating today. The spirit nature of Nupe. And you can see Nupe is everywhere. Today, Nupe is a globalized human species. They are found within the country and outside the country, with dominant population in the North Central, particularly Niger State, followed by Kwara, Kogi, Federal Capital. They are everywhere, even Lagos. So, apart from celebrating the courage, the effort of our forefathers, we are celebrating our rich culture and tradition. We are celebrating the adventurous and industrial nature of Nupe, because that is who we are, very industrious and adventurous. We follow the road, we follow the water, and that's why we are everywhere.
Indeed, that's why you are everywhere. Let's bring in Mr. Abdul Alim into this conversation. The Nupe nation is a great nation, migrated with all the tribes, the Igalas, the Nupes, the Idomas, interconnected. So can you tell us the impact the Nupe people have on national development, agriculture, education, and of course, craftsmanship? Ladi Kwali comes to mind when we talk about that.
Very much. I want to first thank Almighty Allah for this day, and I also congratulate the entire Nupe kingdom, beginning with the Echunupe, the Yoruba Agodoji. The Nupe nation is predominantly agrarian in nature. We are very, very good in agricultural products. Like my elder has mentioned, starting with rice production, if I became a very renowned organization, Badegi Rice, that was the beginning, before every other type of rice production started in this country. We are also known for, these colors represent the kind of things we do. For agric, you have green. The blue represents anything water, and that's how we traveled, and we're in several states in Nigeria. We are fishermen, and we are very good in anything that has to do with water. You see the way our people migrated from Niger, went to Kogi, in fact, partly in Igala land, up to Abuja, you find Nupe settlements there. If you go anywhere there is water, we are good to go. And the red represents warriors. We are very good in conquering other enclaves. We move. We don't entertain fear when it comes to establishing and making positive impact in other lands. We are very adventurous, as already stated. So when it comes to the positive impact in terms of education, let me point out, as far back as 2009, when Nupe Foundation came up with this 26th of June celebration of Nupe culture, there has been an ICT drive to establish ICT centers in all local governments of Nupe enclaves, wherever our people are. That's a very, very ambitious drive, a quest that tends to bring us to tomorrow, because ICT is the order of the day today. And that's to tell you that Education Committee of Nupe Foundation is seeing beyond now. We have impact everywhere. We have political committees. We have committees for almost every part of human endeavor under the Nupe Foundation. And to add to that, we have other foundations, other, development associations all over the land.
So how have you impacted national development on the national level?
Wow, national. Well, you see, we have, if you want to measure national development, you have to go into politics. Because there have been people who have occupied political positions over the years. And if you want to start from the earliest, you have to travel far back. And we have our elder here who can give you account of several Nupe leaders up until today, the kind of positions our people have occupied. Now, outside politics, if you want to talk of the academia, we have our professors everywhere, almost in every university in Nigeria, you find a Nupe professor. Outside the country, the same thing. So if it is educational sector, the Nupe land is like a leading light. So when you talk about social impact, we have a lot of community development associations all over Nupe land, and we are making impact not only in Nupe land, because there's cohesion. Like already pointed out, we have a traditional arrangement where the head of the traditional institution is Baba Bagorojin, Bida, Alaji. So we don't have issues with traditional setting, because outside Bida, you still have traditional rulers everywhere. Okay. And they are all
contributing to your culture.
Exactly, contribute. And in each domain, you have, like today now, you have Nupe Day being celebrated in each domain. And in that setting, since each traditional ruler is the patron of the association, we have all kinds of celebrations going on. It's not just the culture.
All right.
Including lectures.
You talked about Nupe land having professors all over the country, and we just have to get to one of your professors.
Thank you very much.
Professor Aishatu Abdul Kadri. I understand you are of the Federal University of Technology, Mina, but you are joining us from Ilorin. So, Nupe Day usually is for celebration, but this year His Royal Highness has asked that it is a more subdued celebration, more reflective, rather. What does this mean, and what do you think His Royal Highness, the Etu Nupe, is trying to signal, and what is the significance of this sort of celebration for the Nupe people?
Good morning, Nigeria. Nupe Day is always a great day for the non-peace. In African history, The contribution of the Numpes is tremendously recognized in the history of Black race. This is as a result of the dedication, commitment, resilience, braveness, visionary leadership of our great founding wherever they are, due to that attitude of never give up. However, today is not just celebrated for that, but the lessons we drew from it for us to be able to build ourselves and build the capacity of even the future generation. Numpe Day is celebrated annually. For the Numpes to come together, to interact, to network, to collaborate, pool resources, knowledge, and skills together with shared vision and collective action, such that we lead to the transformation of the Numpe land and the country in general. Numpes doesn't just come out today to exhibit or showcase their culture, but also their economic potential. And because of that, geographically, Numpe land is located along the Niger Basin and its tributaries, commonly found in North Central geopolitical zone, who occupy large proportion of the lowlands of the Niger Basin and the tributaries, which is in addition subjected to seasonal floods, which serve as the pull factor that attracted the Numpes to this vital ecosystem and its resources. And this provided the geographical advantage for that attracted the population to this region, which is the water, signaled by the color of cultural flag as the blue, the green as the agriculture, and the red for our adventure, resilience, and that spirit of never give up. Economically, these geographical conditions give us the ability for high productivity and income generation. And because of that, the Numpe always encourage us through the foundation of Ninibo Numpe, that is Numpe Foundation, to come together annually, not only to showcase our culture, but our economic potentials. The abundant agromorphic soil across the Numpe land, as stated earlier, produce large proportion of rice consumed in Nigeria. This, with government intervention and secured markets, Numpe Kingdom can feed the whole of Nigeria and export rice to elsewhere. Also, we have abundant mineral resources, ranging from gold to lithium, and most importantly, oil and gas across the Desert Basin awaiting exploration. These are days we usually attract investors to our potential resources, such that will lead to the exploration. The Barrow Port has been there since colonial days, but recently commissioned, and after 5 years, is still at the stage it is, or more than 5 years, without functioning. We are looking forward to full dredging and utilization of this Barrow Port. Not only withstanding, with all this, the Numpe Day is not just celebrated to showcase culture, but it's also a day where Numpes all over the world, wherever you find yourself, Niger, Kogi, FCT, or even in diaspora, come together as sons and daughters of Numpe land to learn from each other, to interact, to network, and identify strategies to move the kingdom forward. Ably supported by our grand patron, which is His Royal Highness, the Etu Numpe, supported with all the patrons, which are all the Etus across the Numpe land that are ever ready to give us the capacity, to give us the strength, to give us the ability to distinguish ourselves. That culture that we are...
I'm sorry I'm having to interject. I asked, yes, in spite of all of this, I mean, The gentlemen in the studio have talked a lot about the prowess and the achievements of the Nupe people. I was asking, in spite of all of this, why did His Royal Highness, the Etunupe, say it should be a subdued celebration? Okay. What does this mean for Nupe people?
Incidents of flood disaster that occurred in Mokwa. Although to us flood is a resource, but that turned to a disaster, which is mainly as a result of human activities. And because of that, so many lives were lost, goods and livelihood are lost. We are all human. So because of that, His Royal Highness deemed it fit that yes, during this celebration, we observe prayers for the nation, for Nupe Kingdom, for the affected community, and identify ways to move the Nupe community forward. Not that the ability is not there, but because of the humanity in us and the zeal in us as the Nupe people. One part of the body is affected, the entire part is also affected. And because of that disaster at Mokwa, the Nupes today are not in celebration mode, but we are still giving appreciation to the Almighty Allah for sparing our life and for making us overcome that incident. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Aishitu, for your comments, opening comments there. Quite interesting indeed. The whole of Nigeria is with the people of Mokwa, and we're also sympathizing with them. This is the 17th edition of the Nupe Day that is being celebrated, and I'm sure it's being celebrated internationally too, across the globe, anywhere a Nupe person is. Because I have a Facebook friend, Kere Ahmed's daughter, she's in London, and every time it's Nupe Day, she dresses up and then, she puts all the pictures out there, celebrating. Even in London, she's celebrating. So how does this celebration, the Nupe Day, help preserve indigenous languages, music, festival, and dressings? Because we've seen a lot of cultures just disappear. Out of the blue, you can't seem to find them. And the young people coming up don't even know anything about their culture. So how are you preserving this culture to teach to the generation and generation after you?
Yeah, thank you very much. We are preserving the culture through so many symbols that we have created, intentionally. Like the barrister has said, what this symbolizes, that is the muffler I have here, the colors, it's a way of preserving our culture. So that you are an industrious person, a warrior, you are somebody who is good as a farmer, a very good farmer, a very good fisherman. So you are not a lazy person. That's what we are saying to generations yet unborn. Another thing that we have done is also we've introduced what we call Nupe Cultural Anthem to sensitize Nupes, to awaken that spirit of never give up, and to also make us, understand that we have a duty, to not only our tribe, but also to the international community. So there is a cultural anthem that is sung anytime we come together as Nupes. We also have the Nupe Foundation, which is an organization. It's an international organization. Many Nupe people belong to that organization, where we discuss how do we move this very, very great, essence of humanity called Nupe forward. And we have also the cultural center, where we preserve, those relics, the antiques and things like that, they are kept in that, like a museum, I'll put our people, So there are so many things that, in the Nupe Day, which is supposed to be the celebration, where we dance, you see the best of our culture, the finest of it being displayed, And then this year too, I think on the 28th of this month, Etunupe is organizing a colloquium where experts in agriculture will come together. It's going to take place at Ladi Kwali, that is the Intercontinental Hotel, the Sheraton, former Sheraton, where gurus in agriculture, will come to brainstorm on how do we move agriculture forward, which is very important. How do we impact, not only our people, but internationally. And you can also see what our amiable, very, very dynamic governor is doing, he's a Nupe man, and when he came up, he said he's a farmer governor because he's from a farming, tribe, farming, area of the state, of the country. So, and you can see how he has uplifted the farming trade, as an industry, beyond this, imagination of everybody. Even the president acknowledges this. The entire world, not only Nigeria, because he has managed to bring the world to Niger State as far as farming is concerned. So you can see how industrious we are, how very, very dynamic we are when it comes to, delivering on any assignment given to any person. So how are we preserving? That's why we created these symbols, to ensure that these things will live long after most of us are no longer here. People will now, like Nupe Day, by the grace of God, has come to stay. This has come to stay. Nupe Cultural Anthem has come to stay. The Cultural Center, where we put our relics, has come to stay. These things were not there before until when the current emir, came on board. Then that
and then introduced
all these things. So that's how we were preserving the Nupe culture.
Thank you, Alhaji Yabagi. Let me get back to Alhaji Dagachi. I know that every year the Nupe Day has a theme. What's the theme for this year? And is it in sync with the reflective mood that the Etu Nupe had directed?
Well, I had a grassroots-based organization, Community Association for Grassroots Transformation. And our central agenda is unity and development, starting from Nupeland, in the spirit of charity begins at home. Then we think of the nation. You can't build unity without a consensus among the people to move in the same direction. So what we do, we organize town hall meetings, village assemblies, intended to share knowledge, wisdom, experience with the younger generation. That is very important. Important because one generation, a particular generation, does not live forever, no matter how it wishes to. Someday it will be gone, I will be gone forever. So the pertinent question is, what is the outgoing generation doing, in terms of succession, to arm the incoming generation, the younger generation? And that is where sustainable development comes in. If you are living your life, you don't destroy the society to make it inevitable for the incoming one. Very important. So the theme is unity and development of Nupe land, first and foremost, in the spirit of charity begins at home. That is the thing.
In the spirit of charity begins at home. So what role can the UP youth play in nation building and, of course, entrepreneurship?
And entrepreneurship, and our youth are knowledgeable, vibrant, and they are already adding to the development of the nation. They are well educated, and they are everywhere. And like I said, they've already borrowed that leaf from their ancestors. They are industrious too, and highly business conscious.
So let's begin, Mr. Abdul Alim, into this conversation now. What does the Nupe example teach us about peaceful coexistence in a multi-ethnic background like we have in Niger State, Kogi State, Benue State, and all interconnected?
Thank you very much. I want to add a little to what our daddy here said on the way we are preserving our culture. I'm younger here, so I'm closer to the youth. We encourage the speaking of Nupe language wherever we find ourselves, starting from the home. Even if you find yourself in US or UK, any part of the world, speak Nupe language to your children, because that's our cultural identity. There is no other way to do it. Every child grows up to learn, to go to school, speak other languages, but if you fail as a parent to speak your language to your own children, they may lose the opportunity to continue the heritage. So that's one. Our youth are very vibrant when it comes to music. We don't only speak, we sing in Nupe language, we do videos in Nupe language, and we have a lot of stars now that we can proudly invite to any event. In fact, we have had calls to bring Nupe group to a national event at Eagle Square, and we can take them to any part of the world to promote our culture. So in that area, the younger generation are thumbs up, and we'll continue to encourage that. More encouragement should come from especially elite, so that they don't give up. Everybody is proudly Nupe. And to that extent, we want to say kudos to all our artists who are, taking us to the global stage, in the social media and even in the mainstream media. So to come back to your question, if I understand what you're saying, the impact, you're asking about the social impact.
How can other communities learn from the peaceful coexistence?
Peaceful coexistence.
Yes.
Well, that has to, it can take 3 dimensions. One, our leadership, starting from the traditional institution. There is no discussion or conversation about our heritage that will not start from the traditional institution, because the leadership of Etunupe is exemplary. He's not a sit-at-home traditional ruler. He's very knowledgeable about politics at the global level, politics at the national level, and politics at the state level, such that wherever there are opportunities, he's worried about the kind of contribution that our people can make. And we don't miss such opportunities. So if your traditional institution is sound, thoroughly exposed, and in touch with the realities of the day, it should be easy to get people to listen to you. Because nobody disobeys. By our upbringing, we are trained to respect elders and not to renege or disobey lawful instruction. So our people are very, very much at home with the traditional institution. And once you have that, you now move to the political elite. Like our elders will say, the strength of a bird depends on that of the branch of the tree where it is perching. So we are looking up to our political leaders, and the examples are many. We just proudly spoke about the governor of Niger State. Hopefully, we'll soon have governors all over 4 states, including the FCT. A minister for FCT, if it's a Nupe man, you see the examples will be given. If you inherit a culture of farming and you do not take advantage of it, for me, that's more like being irresponsible.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me get back to Professor Aishatu Abdul Kadri. Now, I'm just wondering, apart from the quest for a state of your own as Nupe people, what else are the aspirations of the Nupe people that a day like this can help to advance?
Thank you very much, sir. The Nupe people generally are known for their skills in agriculture, fishing, and metalwork. Days like this, when it comes, we look forward to improve on our skills. We look forward to creativity. We look forward for us to be industrious. We look forward for us to move from the traditional method to the modern method. During our father's term, rice is cultivated once per annum. Today, rice is cultivated 2 to 3 times per annum in Nupe Kingdom. And this enhances their economic capacity. It enables them to meet their own needs, enable them to put food on their own table and have shelter over their head. So to us, when we meet this day, is how can we build on what we have been doing? How do we move forward? How do we engage our youth? How do we create or strengthen that unity that pre-exists between the Numpes? And as well, how do we cultivate such attitude that the Numpes are known for from our founding fathers? And this is always the priority whenever we meet, is for us to identify strategies, ways to enhance the existing cooperation and move the Numpe kingdom forward. When we do that, by implication, we'll be eradicating rural poverty and limiting rural-urban migration, as well enhancing livelihood of our teeming youth and making them to be self-reliant other than being a dependence on other people or other regions. We always look at the potentials of the Numpe land and how to exploit it for the benefit of the Numpes and the country at large.
Sorry, just a moment, Juma. I'd like to stay with you. What's the place of a woman in all of this for Nupe people? How are Nupe women also reserved? I don't want to use a certain language on TV.
From history, you look at that Nupe women are always vibrant, hardworking, dedicated, and committed, and key into those virtues, those attitudes that the Nupes are generally known for. Starting from people like Gambo Sawaba, who was a daughter of a Nupe woman, Fatima from Kutigi. We have people like ministers of Zainab Kuchi, Nololo, among others. Have Zainab Pure, who was one-time senator, despite being a female. I also believe I'm a female, and females in Kinnupe are doing well in terms of art, craft, industrials, entrepreneur, and whatever aspect you can think of. And when it comes to the mothers, they are always mothers with a difference, a mother to the core that can sacrifice whatever they have for the livelihood or for the benefit of their children. Not only that, even to the family, you will see that a Nupe woman can do whatever it takes to meet the demand of the family and that of the community and the nation at large. So in Nupe Kingdom, women are not always left behind. They are always there to contribute their own quota to the development and peaceful coexistence of the Nupe nation and the country at large.
Thank you so much, Prof. I like when we talk about women, and I've seen Nupe women who have been very impactful, business conscious, and they are nurturers at home, but out there they are excelling. So how can the Nupe culture, Engineer Abagi, be harnessed for tourism and economic diversification? Because for tourism, because of your brass work, I've been to Nupe Day in Bidda, and I've seen the brass work. They're absolutely beautiful. So how can it translate into economic development?
Well, the Nupe culture, I think was it last year or so, Bidda was named as one of the UNESCO cities, known for I think about food culture and things like that. So we are internationally, Bidda being the city of the center of Nupe people, has been recognized internationally by UNESCO. To tell you, that in terms of tourism and things like that, people will see us on the map, even for that, and then like you mentioned, our artistic, this brass work,
pottery
and things like that. Apart from the utilitarian use of it, it also goes with some other meanings to us.
Oh, really?
Yes, it is.
What does it?
Well, like the brass work, the belief, and I think that's been proved, is that aside from the Nupe land, I don't know where else you can get that base, made in Nigeria. So we normally say that it's from Egypt to Nupe land. So it's something of a pride, to us. And when you look at the brass work too, I don't know how many places you see, aluminium being made, into the various forms, utensils and things like that. And then we use it also for giving awards and things like that. And the brass also. There are not many places, even in Nigeria or in Africa for that matter, where you find.
Will you see them in India?
Well, yeah,
yes,
exactly.
yes.
In India,
yeah,
you see them. But they are unique things. They are not just because of the utilitarian value, but also it means a lot to us as a proud people that are industrious and are unique in our own way. And even our you see things like these masquerades that you find. The masquerade you find even in Yoruba land, the language they speak is Nupe. That's why people don't understand unless it's Nupe language they speak. Those masks, the ones that Egugu and whatever you find in the Yoruba land. And there's a lot of affinity between the Nupes and the Yoruba people. To the extent that even the Alafin of Oyo, the Omorayon, he was a descendant of Nupe woman. He was born by the so to Ife and what have you. So Nupe is, as far as tourism is concerned, you find us unique. That is our handwork is something that is enough to attract people, to come to Nupe land. Aside from the environment itself, the geography where we are, we have Bongo Park, who discovered the River Niger.
Supposedly.
The statues there in Nupe land. We have so many other things that you can really attract people to come to Nupe land, to see. And most importantly, that's why I'm talking about our artistic, these beads, like you said, pottery,
yes,
and things like that.
One thing that comes to mind is,
that's for us.
How are you writing history? Because, like I said, supposedly Mungo Park discovered there were people living across the Niger on the riverbank before Mungo Park came. How are you writing history to tell your younger generation that we were here before Mungo Park?
Yes, there was this, the man who wrote this Byzantine, this book, I understand, He, in that book, he described Nupes. It's a white man that lived among the Nupes, a missionary actually. And he learned the language, the culture and things of Nupes. And he came to the conclusion that Nupes are great farmers, great fishermen, and they are also great warriors. So it's documented. You find it in the libraries and things like that. And ourselves, you like people like Professor Aishat, and others, who are doing, in their own ways, how to ensure that we immortalize, what the place stands for, and our history is not lost on this generation. Like Dagachi says, no generation lasts forever. So you must build symbols that people will come, which will make them remember that, yes, the people are there before, and they are proud people. God gave them that unique, features in terms of their culture, in terms of their language, in terms of their religion, and things like that. So we are deep in these attributes that I think mark people out as unique. So this is why Nupe, for instance, language itself. We now have Nupe being taught in some of the schools, in Niger State, and I'm sure it will go to other places. There's one young man there that's doing, fabulously well. What's his name again? Marakis, go?
Idris
Marakis, yes. I think he's doing quite wonderfully well.
Because people are learning languages on the internet now. You can learn Korea, German.
There's a Nupe dictionary.
Okay.
The one that was also compiled by Ambassador Solomon Issa. Yes. He has a dictionary that was launched by, I think it was launched by General Danjuma some years ago, you know, and then it's now on the internet also. So you wouldn't find it difficult to learn Nupe anymore because it's a very rich dictionary that he wrote. In fact, Solomon Issa was the one that composed, you know, the Nupe cultural anthem I'm talking about, you know. It was, you know, so we are doing quite a lot in ensuring that our history is not lost on all these modern things and whatever.
All right, thank you, Engineer Yabagi. Let me ask Abdul Jalil. In recent years, Abdul Alim, right?
Yes.
I think I'll get used to that before you leave.
Yeah. You got it.
Now, in recent years, I've seen some other, you know, ethnic nationalities position themselves, their culture, you know, as economic capital through film, tourism, and lifestyle brands. And I'm wondering, in spite of your rich, you know, heritage, why you are not taking advantage of the Nupe Day to do same.
Well, we already noted that this year's edition is low-key. It's low-key. Otherwise...
I think last year was low-key too, if I remember.
Yeah.
Last year was low-key too. So perhaps we are in an era of low-key celebrations.
Yes.
But are you going to let the cultures go away or die?
No,
last
not
year
at all.
That was because of the heightened insecurity.
Yes.
At that time. You know, but now, this one hit us home, you know, natural disaster. So there was nothing we could do about that. And then it will be inhuman, so to speak, to ignore that we lost so many people. You know.
But hey, this is part of the celebration too. We're bringing awareness.
It's just a question of how much impact, because and that's why I'm asking. In film, you have a lot of stories to tell. You have a lot to share. Why are you not taking advantage of, you know, even if not a day like this? Some people may make it a point of duty to, you know, go home during Nupe Day, but a day will not be enough to push all of this.
So normally it wasn't. No, it wasn't a day. We normally had it a week. It's a week celebration. Yes, we had lectures. We have
even a week will not be enough. A week in a year will not be enough.
No, like the last the one they did in Ogun State, I think it was. Ojude-Oba. You know, so we had planned ours to be more glorious, more, you know, fabulous and things like that, because we believe that if any culture, you know, in Africa, you know, should be celebrated with fanfare, it should be Nupe culture, really.
Yes, it should be Nupe culture. You're talking about, you know, insecurity of last year that made the celebration low-key. Abdul Alim, how can the traditional institution of the Nupe Emirate help mitigate insecurity and promote youth empowerment? Because most of these insurgents, most of these bandits are young people, young girls and boys, because we can't say they are all boys, there are girls too out there. So how can you mitigate insecurity? We know the Nupe taps on security around that area. So how are the people themselves contributing to security in that area?
All right, thank you very much. It's actually a social problem which, to a large extent, the Nupe land, as at today, for me, is the safest environment to be in. Because we have an integrated approach to issues of insecurity. And starting from the traditional institution, it is difficult for outsiders to penetrate Nupe land and commit atrocities. In fact, recently, I think it was last year, we had a large number of bandits that entered Nupe land, but they didn't come out. No, they won't come out. We have a tradition. They can't come out. So they dare not even enter.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You see, we are a people and we are also spirits. I can proudly say as a Nupe man that if you have a father at home who is not an evil man, you can go around Nupe land, you can go anywhere, even in night, without fear. You come back alive. But where we have a situation where the traditional institution is loose or not really caring for its people, and it gets to a level where the people don't listen to that traditional ruler, you have crisis. Because the youth, see, the way our community is structured, you have the traditional institution, under him you have Tsuyokpa, you have all title holders, and each of them has a domain so that you can hold anybody responsible if something goes wrong under his own custody. It's not easy for somebody to come from outside and overtake people who are not sleeping. No, it's not even possible in Nupe land.
All right, let's put you on a pause because we have to take a break now. When we return, the conversation on 2025 Nupe Day will continue. Please stay
and don't
with
forget
us.
to send your contributions to the conversation too. The number is displayed on your screen.
This girl and many more children like her will never forget today. They felt grit. They felt determination. They felt the power of sport. Throughout this year, 7.5 million children across Nigeria will feel the same power through Milo. But we won't stop there. Next year, we will reach even more schools, more communities, and inspire more champions.
When we think about the digital economy, you can see it as the marketplace for digital goods and services. And increasingly, it's becoming a force to reckon with and an incredible contributor to economic growth. Because we've seen the growth in technology and digital platforms. Technology has it really permeated every aspect of life and business, the way we live, the way we work. And when we talk about the digital economy, we're really talking about leveraging technology and digital platforms in a powerful way to drive growth, to drive solutions to problems, to drive applications, and to provide services.
The digital economy is something that has the potential to help Nigeria leapfrog a lot of its development challenges, right? Because think about what the mobile phone did for Nigeria years ago. That is the potential we have for digital, because it has a way of reducing the barriers to innovation. It has a way of being able to transform service delivery, whether it's government's delivery of services or whether it's services in the health system where people can use digital to actually be able to see their patients better. But it takes a lot to realize that potential of digital. The first thing is like every other thing, there's an infrastructure you have to build to be able to make sure that digital economy can thrive. Think of something like, capturing that happens in Nigeria, right? Where you capture, people's biometric when they go for a driver's license, when they go for passports, and each of those are separate things. Largely a system where we're able to streamline that and actually have a platform that exchange biometric information that makes it easier for people to access passports, easier for people to register to vote. But today it's very tough, right? But those are basic infrastructure that needs to be invested in. A lot of it is through government and private sector collaborations to make it happen.
If we're looking to accelerate growth in the Nigerian space, we really need to look at enabling the digital economy. That includes providing digital infrastructure, connectivity, because that's the highway, like the highway that everything rides on. We need to think about digital capacity building in terms of the suppliers to the economy and also the consumers within the economy. So a robust digital literacy initiative. The good thing about technology is that, one, it helps you to transcend boundaries. Two, it creates a level playing field, really, because if you create a solution, a technology-based solution that is applicable in this environment, that same technology can be applicable, exported to other environments. And, technology platforms also help drive collaboration, right? When we're thinking about innovation, when we're thinking about business growth, collaboration is an important part of that.
So when we think about the impacts with the rest of the world, we find that actually technology platforms are giving us an opportunity to engage more actively, to collaborate, to create partnerships, to even export our knowledge and services for people to engage with all the great things I'm talking about technology and digital platforms. They need access, internet access, broadband access. So we need to make sure that access is more available and affordable for the average user.
The most important thing is to think about where you want to go as a country and actually what type of policies are going to help get you there. There are examples of countries who've been able to transform using digital, for example. There are very clear things those countries did to be able to make it happen. So a lot of this, the pathway to be able to solve these problems are not mysterious, right? It takes courage of the policymakers to be able to understudy some of these things and bring in the policies that work to be able to help them.
All right, many thanks for staying with us. This is Good Morning Nigeria, if you've just joined us, and we are discussing the 2025 Nupe Day celebration. Even though it's a subdued one, well, there's still a lot to talk about. And we have a couple of messages coming in. Let me begin by reading this one from Kolos Mohammed, who is GM Radio Niger, and is a Nupe man. It says, congratulations on today's Nupe Day observed all over the globe today. We Nupes are recognized as one of the first set of people with a rich culture in Nigeria. A proof of this includes a very rich Sala Doba and cultural singers that stand out in the country. Okay, and I have a second message, not sure who it is, no name. He said, I can confidently say Nupe has contributed to national development and unity. Check out our schools, universities, colleges, and daily activities like cultural way of life. Jumai, you have
I have two now, and talking about women. The first, Salima said, the first female presidential candidate in Nigeria is a Nupe woman. This is Sarah Jibril. That's proud. And the second, yes, Muhammad Alaji from Kaduna says, why is it that Nupe men marry from outside their region but hardly allow Nupe women marry from outside, except for few of them who grew outside Nupe Kingdom?
Perhaps Alaji Nagaji will have an answer to that. He will have an answer.
Why do you take from outside but you don't want people to come and take from you?
The communal spirit among Nupes is very high.
Okay.
It's great. And because of that spirit, we always want to stay together, live together, take care of ourselves. Principally, that is one of the reasons.
Okay.
We don't want our children to go away from us because of that communal spirit. And there is this parental affinity again among parents and the children.
Okay.
That we find very difficult to turn our back against. In the past, it was even a taboo to allow a girl child to be married away from your community.
Okay, the prof is there, and I can see she's laughing. Prof, why do you take but you don't want to give? You hear me?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
No, I'm hearing you now, please.
Okay, somebody sent a message that why do Nupe people marry from outside but they don't like giving their daughters to people outside the Nupe clan? Why is it like that? You want to take but not give?
It's the love that we have for our own people. And it's because when you look at Nupe culture, we respect our women. It's not every culture that respects women. We appreciate our women. It's not every culture that appreciates women. And we have this cordial relationship between us and our community. which we will not want to miss. And also, when you look at it, that Nupe has abundant food, tuwo shekafa and miewake, that is the mashed mashed rice and bean soup, which attract most cultures to marry a Nupe man. So, you know, and the fresh fish is also abundant. Just marry Nupe man, you have abundant fish, have abundant rice, that freedom, that love, that care, the opportunity, and it's endless.
Okay, I have one interesting comment here. Somebody is saying, with due respect to our guest in the studio from Nupe, is that Mongo Park did not discover River Niger. Rather, we the people found and rescued Mongo Park, who was lost in the Niger River.
With malaria.
Said I celebrate with Nupe people on this great occasion. That's Ukpongayat from Calabar.
That's true. Yeah.
You saved him.
Yeah, exactly. But then the history still revolves around the Nupe land. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah.
Because his tomb is there in Jaba. So we believe that for tourists, you know, people internationally who are in love with history want to trace where is this man resting. They can come to Nupe land, you know. And so, but like he says, yes, we are people that are full of rich, you know, culture and you know, industry too. So the Nupe, it's in essence is a tribe that illuminates, you know, believe you me, wherever we are, you know, we illuminate our surroundings. Yes, exactly, by all measures that you want to look at. You know, like I was mentioning, the National Assembly, you know, they are having this public hearing in Jos on the 4th and the 5th of this month. And we've mentioned here that Edo State, which is the Nupe State, is one of those selected for creation, you know, to be created. And His Royal Highness Eto Nupe is also going to present a paper at that occasion on behalf of all the traditional rulers, you know, of this country, to ensure that they are given a place of pride in our constitution, so that we can begin to now honor and take advantage of what God has given to us in terms of tradition. To talk about peace. How do we engender peace? You know, I think if we honor the traditional, you know, institutions, perhaps that will widen, you know, our reach in terms of ensuring that there's peace in various, you know, localities in this country. Because I think that is the missing link, because the government, being a modern institution, does not have that linkage that has been established between the modern institutions and the traditional institutions, which people respect, you know, as a matter of culture, you know, as a matter of duty, you know, like Barrister here says also, that Nupes are known to be very, very humble, and you know, we respect our elders. So, and that goes, I'm sure, for other tribes too. You know, they respect their traditional institution, their traditional rulers. Every problem they have, the first thing that comes to their mind is, let me go and see you know, the traditional ruler. So,
what does it take to marry a Nupe woman, for instance?
No, it doesn't take much. It just takes, you know,
Victor,
it takes love. You know, it takes love.
Because since there was a closed system and now it's an open, a bit open system, you used to love your people so much, your women so much, that you don't want them to go out. Now you've, you know, allowed people to come in. So what does it take to marry a Nupe woman?
No, you know, in the modern world today, you know, IT has broken down a lot of barriers. You know that this kind, the closeness he's talking about, IT has taken to a very large extent. You know, you can communicate on videos, you can use your these facilities.
People meet on the internet.
On the internet and things like that. So it takes love. If there's genuine love, believe you me, a Nupe woman is somebody that is very, very, can I say, submissive.
I was talking about the cultural demands, cultural requirements.
Oh, requirements.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
cultural requirements are just what you find in most places, really. That you must, first of all, agree, with the woman that yes, she wants you, she wants to marry you, and then you now send your people to the family, with kola nut and some token amount of money that you have. The people will go there and say, we found somebody, a flower here that we want to pluck.
Oh, you also pluck flowers?
Yes.
Yes, I have one again. It's like people are interested in the marriage issue.
Yeah.
For Tumba Olatunde Abimbola Sumolo, he said the marriage issues applies to most tribes in the past, but things have changed. We're in the modern day era. Yeah. Even the Yorubas never wanted any other tribe in the past. And another one said, congratulations to the entire people of Nupe land, both at home and diaspora. Please, what are you doing about Barrow Port and Bida Basin? Dakachi.
I actually wanted to, if it will not be against your ethics, I actually wanted to do value addition to
some of the go ahead.
Marriage first. What it takes to get a woman,
a Nupe woman.
You see, you must have a sound family background in terms of value and religion. And we must establish, the parents of the girl must establish that your family is dependable and responsible. That is where the marriage begins. If they cannot establish that, forget it. You won't have the opportunity to marry a Nupe woman. That is that. Coming to, he mentioned the issue of a state. Let me do an enhancement. State creation. Why do we want a state for the Nupes? You see, living is history. Even what we are doing here is history. Nupe is not a mere footnote in the evolutionary history of Nigeria. It is a big pillar that has contributed immensely. And we feel this is a reward period. This is payback period.
But why do you want to leave a state where you are the dominant?
I'm coming to that. You see, Niger State was created 50 years ago, in 1976, alongside Sokoto State. The Sokoto sister state that was created with Niger State in 1976 had been split into 3 states over time. 3 states of Sokoto, Zamfara, Kebbi, with almost 60 local governments.
But no 2 has been split.
9 senators, about 27 House of Rep members. Niger is still 1, with 1 governor, with 3 senators, with 9 or even 10 House of Rep members, with 25 local government. Do you know what this represents? Under development, under representation, under founding. Can't you see we've been shortchanged? Can't you see Niger State have been cheated? So, can you now see reason why we are agitating for the creation of 1 or more states from Niger State? It's not about Nupe. It's about splitting the Niger State into 1 or more states to do away with the underdevelopment and underfounding. That is the most important thing. That is the greatest motivation. Then coming to the Nupe issue. Can't we ask for state? Can't we agitate for state? Are we not qualified for it? After all, we are knowledgeable. We are well educated. We have the resources. The land is stable.
But the people are scattered.
No, they are not scattered. Yes, they are scattered. We are talking of.
So how
you are, no, why you say no? Why you say scatter is Nupe is an ethnic nationality with presence.
Across states.
I'm coming with reasonable population in almost all the states of the federation. But we are talking of Niger State now, where we are the majority. We have 8 local governments. How many local governments does Bayelsa have? And so many other states. We can comfortably agitate for creation of additional states from Niger State, limited to Nupe land with 8 local governments. Do you know the size of these local governments compared to others all over the country? Do you know their size? Each of them can be split into 3 local governments if we do relative comparison of what is occurring elsewhere.
Okay, no problem. Let me get to Professor Abdul Kadri. Somebody is asking, he said there are Nupe names like Ghana, Kolo, that from history originated from Maiduguri. And he's saying, what is the relationship between the Nupes and people from Maiduguri? Well, another one says, good morning, NTA and honorable chiefs. He said, Happy Nupe Day. Are Nupes related to Yorubas because they dress and dance like Yorubas? Prof.
Thank you, sir. Despite the network challenges, without doubt, we know that Nupe people have link with the Hausas and the Yorubas, and even the Maiduguri. You look at Kutiji, for example, and Enegi, most of them are migrants from Maiduguri. And they are Benus, which is very clear in Nupe land. We have the Bokani and others that originated from this Hausa land. And there's rich history between the Hausas and the Nupes. Also, when you look at the Yorubas, even the founder of Nupe land, which is Todi, migrated from Ida. So there's this relationship. And the Nupes conquer Oyo Empire some times back. People like Alhaji Y.Y. Sani will explain better that are father of Israel land. So when you look at this, Nupe people are not just localized. They are global in terms of identity. And they have peaceful coexistence with almost all tribes and all regions in Nigeria. Nupe people did not live in isolation. We interact and we network with others that are not even Nupe by tribe. And this is what strengthens our unity and diversity. Even within the Nupes, we have those ones with other minor language, like the Dibo, like the Basanje, but that does not differentiate one Nupe from the other. So we have that strength bond of socio-economic bond that always unites us as the Nupe people, irrespective of wherever you are. And we have relationship in names, like Ghana, Ndagana in Nupe, because of the historical foundation or historical leakage that exists between the Nupes and the Boronu people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have
prof.
Yes. I have a text message before we go so that you can respond. Baba Alhaji Suleiman is the Sarkin Samari Nupe. That's the Sarki of the youth. He said, Happy Nupe to all Nupe cheesy. I don't know how to pronounce it. Okay, one of the positive development from the Nupes is the Nupe Day. It's a cultural consciousness among our youths, especially in our higher institutions and during weddings. A day is always marked as Nupe Day to showcase Nupe culture. Secondly, we are united more than ever before, from Niger to Kwara to Kogi and FCT, even in the diaspora. And Dr. Ndanusa in Abuja said, Nupe is predominantly domiciled in Niger, Kwara, and Kogi, with pockets in FCT, Nasarawa, and Plateau. As I speak now, Nupe local government areas in Kwara State, we need the solutions used in Niger State to rescue our people from bandits. His Royal Highness S. Nupe should help our people in Kwara State. From Dr. Ndanusa in Abuja.
Yeah.
So what are your final words as we begin to round up this conversation?
Not begin. We actually have a minute to go.
Okay. Well, like Prof has said, that we are people that are really sociable, and this happens because of our geographical location. You can see us as the bridge between the north and the south. That's why you find intermarriages between the Nupes and the Yorubas, the Nupes and Hausas, and even Igbos. So the fact of the matter is that Nupe could serve as the center of peace and unity, for Nigeria. By all ramifications that you want to look at, we serve that purpose. Like Baroport we are talking about is something that will open up the economic potentials of the North, the entire North, not only Nupe land, really. And then when you look at the oil and gas we talk about, it's something that will add to the national wealth of this country. That's GDP, if we develop that.
Right.
So Nupe is, apart from our culture, we also are gifted by the natural endowment. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So we represent peace, we represent development, we represent progress for this country.
All right, peace, development, and progress for this country. I guess that's a very fine place to leave the conversation. Let me thank you very, very much, Engineer Yabagi Sani, for your contributions on Good Morning Nigeria. We thank you very much and appreciate your time.
Thank you for having us.
Let me also thank Alhaji Muhammadu Dagachi, President General Community Association for Grassroots Transformation, CAGRAT. We appreciate your coming on Good Morning Nigeria this morning. We also thank Abdulalim Haruna, barrister at law, National President of Ninijin Nupe Development Association, Deputy Registrar and Special Assistant on Information Strategy and Legal Matters to the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council at the University of Abuja. We thank you very much for your time.
Thanks you very much too.
Finally, but by no means the least, let me thank Professor Aisha Abdul Kadri. She's of the Department of Geography, Federal University of Technology, Mina. She joined us from Ilorin. We thank you very much for your contributions. The academic rigor, as profs like to put it. We thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, and that's Good Morning Nigeria for today. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. Do join us tomorrow for another interesting conversation. I am Juma Yusuf. Do have a wonderful day.
Victor, as we'll see you again tomorrow.